What is up, guys? Johnny B here again today, and we're going to be working on my BRZ. Now that we got the engine all buttoned up, that's ready to go. The next step would be to put it in the car, but the car is still a little bit bent up from the accident. So this was just a temporary fix to make it look good, to pass inspection so we can register it. But now we're gonna go ahead and do a teardown. We're gonna chop the whole front end off of the car, and we're gonna be doing a tube chassis for it. So it won't be done in this video, but we wanna make sure we can clean it all up in this video, take all the parts off, or at least, get most of the parts off, and then start building like a new firewall and start building new mounting plates, so that way we can build off of them to make the whole front end into a tube chassis. That way we can solve all the issues that it has with bent metal, and it'll actually be even nicer to work on, to service, because you could just stick your hand through the tubes to work on something on the engine. If I don't decide to cover everything up, with like some sheet metal. But let's get started. Don't know what's gonna happen, but we're just gonna get started. So here it is, the engine bay. Took the trans out real quick, sitting right there in this pile of parts. So that's gonna be the same trans we're gonna be using. It only has like 1,000 miles on it. It's out of a GR86, so that trans has really low mileage. This is what's damaged here. So you guys can see there, the black spray paint kind of hit it. Same thing here. See the wrinkle here, a little bit of wrinkling there. I kind of just painted it black just so it kind of blends out. So if you're the inspector, you just see like, oh, nice engine in here. It looks very clean. But since it's black, you kind of your eye doesn't draw to it. So it makes it super easy kind of to hide it away. But you can see where it kind of bent there, it dented there. That strut tower is all messed up. So the idea is we're gonna go ahead and chop it from back there and basically remove the whole front end, literally, and then start plating it back there on the firewall. Probably redo the firewall, maybe make a new firewall for it. Something that looks a little bit nicer. That way when you open the hood, the firewall will look all nice, and so will everything else in here inside the engine bay. Probably hide away the harness. I don't know exactly how much of the harness we're gonna use. I think they still reuse this harness, so we could probably hide it away somewhere, and then try to make it a little bit longer so it's just hidden. I want the engine bay to be like really clean and nothing really that visible. It's not gonna be super clean because we're gonna be still using AC, and we're still gonna be using all that stuff. I'm not too sure about if I'm still gonna keep the ABS system. If we do, we're gonna have to reroute that, but regardless, all this whole front end's coming off and we're just redoing it all, and then I'll probably figure out what I'm doing as I'm doing it. We're getting there, got the whole front end removed. Now we're in the process of removing all the harness, removing all these wires and brake lines, and all this stuff is just gonna have to come off since we're gonna cut it. We wanna make sure we remove all that stuff. I gotta remove all the AC lines too. Those are gonna get replaced with the K-Power kit. The whole front subframe is coming off with the wheels and everything. That's why I have the car on the lift. I bought this this third lift, I guess, because I have 1, 2, and this third one, so that I could have the car here on the lift and bring it up and down as I need, without the worries of having to move the car around. It'll just kind of live here. So here we are with the front end of the car. Got it all taken apart. The whole engine wiring harness is out. It's quite the pain because to get to the front engine harness, or it's just engine harness in general, dash has to come out. Look at that. Everything got removed. You got to unplug a bunch of like ECUs and cable connections for everything. Even all the AC stuff was connected through the engine bay, so all that had to come off. But I figured that'd be a good idea because if I'm gonna be cutting and welding and all this other stuff, I'll probably have to push back the carpet as well. It'll just make it a lot easier for what I'm gonna do. So obviously from there, this way it's gonna get all redone. I might leave this section of it here. I just have to remove this for the kswap. And I might leave this top portion too. So it'll just be tube chassis from like there forward. So I'm debating, if I'm gonna do the same thing here. But before I go ahead and chop everything up, I am going to take this car to a buddy of mine's shop, and he has a frame machine. So I'm gonna have them try to strain this out as much as possible before we cut it, so I can make sure that everything and the body is gonna be lined up, everything's gonna be matching up pretty nicely, so that way when I weld, I'm confident that everything's gonna be as straight as possible, because the car was hit on this side where the accident was at, and that's the part that's all messed up. So I could just buy the front end and chop it off another car, weld it on this one. I've done it before with many cars, but I think doing a tube chassis will give me the experience to learn how to do that, and then I can apply it to other things, other projects, other jobs, and then as well as kind of learning a new skill is always fun. So I've been kind of like stocking up on tools that are going to help me for all that stuff, and hopefully I can move on into also doing roll cages and other stuff like that. So before taking it to the frame shop, I want to make sure and remove my wheels. I wanted to put these spares on, but I had to remove the big brake kit to be able to get them on. And yeah, so now it looks like a straight up drag car with the skinnies in the front. I'm gonna leave the crash bars just so they can use it to measure the frame rails. So that way when they move them to the proper orientation. And then all the parts that were in it that we took off are all inside here. Inside my A86, except the front bumper doesn't fit, so I'm gonna have to find a place for that.